Hello and welcome. So now we're going to be talking a little bit about giving you some metaphors of how to think about your aura, how to think about your chakras, and that's really going to help our going through doing the ultra clean warp gate. If you want to jump ahead, install the warp gate and kick it off, feel free to do that, and you can come back and collect this video and kind of get those metaphors. It does help to have that so you consciously come back and do all the work, but it's not necessary for the work to happen, because once you kick out the warp gates, it's going to happen. It's going to go for 12 to 4 hours, or 4 to 12 hours. So you're going to want to do that. And this just helps build that conscious connection to our why. So it reminds me of a story back when I was in my engineering days in college, and we were talking, it was a course, and it was talking about engineering mishaps, engineering failures. And like one of them was like a landfill. And this is a really good one for the aura and the ultra clean, but a landfill. One was like 3 Mile Island, which was the nuclear plant that exploded, even the space shuttle Challenger, which exploded. And it really, when they broke it down, they weren't engineering failures, but they looked like that. They're kind of labeled as that, and everybody notices that, and the media is like, oh my gosh, and look at that big failure. But like, for example, with the space shuttle, like they had 2 O-rings, right? And if the first O-ring showed damage, they were like to scrap it. Like that means something's wrong, something is not working. Well, guess what? That happened in previous shuttle launch where the first O-ring was actually pierced. The second O-ring caught it, but somebody made a financial decision, not an engineering decision. Engineeringly, they said like, oh, whoa, we don't have something here. This is a danger. This is a potential to have a catastrophic failure. But somebody made a financial decision of like, oh, but if we stop doing it, it's going to cost a lot of money. So it wasn't really an engineering failure. There was actually that safety measure put in place of like, let's put 2 O-rings. If ever that first one gets pierced, we know we need to revise this because something is wrong. Somebody made a financial decision, and we saw how that turned out. Same with 3 Mile Island. There was many ways, many kind of metrics where engineeringly it was said, hey, shut the plant down. No, we are in a danger zone. They had multiple safety levels, and they hit that one where it's like engineering. It's like, okay, shut it down. We've got 3 or 4 more after that, but we shut it down on number 1. Like that's the whole point of having that multiple safety levels, is that if you hit the first one, it's like, oh, quick, shut it down. But once again, it was a financial decision, because if you shut down a nuclear plant, it's down for a long time, costs a lot of money. And someone's like, oh, well, we got some extras. That's okay. Let's just push it a little bit. Second safety measure. Well, no, we can push it a little bit further. And obviously, catastrophic failure. But engineeringly, it was like, shut it down. Shut it down on 1. That's the whole point. They're there. But it turns into a quote unquote engineering failure. But it wasn't. It was actually engineered properly. It's just it was ignored for financial reasons. And this has also happened with landfills, which we think landfills, oh, they're stinky, they're nasty, and they're horrible. But actually, when engineered properly, which most of them are, they function really well, and they don't smell, and they'll produce methane, which then can get reused as energy, and like they function really, really well. But the disasters that we hear about is when this was actually a political reason, is somebody's like, oh, we don't like it, it's too close to my house, it's this or that. So somebody said, well, let's just cut a piece off. What that doesn't work. I mean, they're engineerily designed of like the runoff and all that, like you got to get the full component. I mean, imagine if someone was like, well, yeah, the plane is kind of big. Let's just cut off some of the wing and expect the plane to fly properly. No, it becomes a disaster. The plane would be a disaster. And it's the same thing with the landfill. Everybody thinks, oh, it's just a landfill, we're throwing trash. No, they're engineered. And if you cut a piece off of it, yeah, it's going to become a nightmare. You know, if you don't follow the practices and covering it with dirt and all that, yeah, it's going to become a nightmare. So how that relates is with your aura and chakra. It's kind of the same thing. When they get all clogged up and they're not functioning as they're supposed to function, it becomes a nightmare, right? And there's a lot to clean out, right? So that's why we got the ultra clean warp gate. And I want you to think of like your aura. It's kind of like a bubble around you, right? And you've got information coming and going, and it's kind of like it's a little stop. Like it's kind of like it holds it on there. So you got like crap coming in, and the aura is kind of blocking it, give you a buffer, right? And they kind of like project it like a TV screen of like, oh, do I need that? Oh, no, I don't. Let's get rid of that. And you flush it away, or it comes through. But if we're not actively clearing our aura, know about our aura, and been doing that, clearing and keeping it and like saying like, oh, there's that information coming in, get rid of it, this is all non-physically happening, then you start having to build up. and then the aura gets all crusty. And you can think of it like if you thought of your house, and then outside your house is your yard. Think of that being a big old trash dump, you know, like a landfill, you know, all full of trash because it hasn't been cleared up, right? So every time you come into your house, you got to go through this big old sea of trash, and that's like all in your aura, just a big old sea of trash. So you're not feeling the magic moments of life continuously as it's flowing through. You're seeing trash dump because there's all this trash dump. It could be from the past that was supposed to come up. Oh, I got this message, get rid of it, flush it, but no. Oh, I didn't get the and it just starts stacking up. Trash, 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 trash. And you got all this trash in your aura. And then stuff that you're releasing, it kind of like you got a big trash dump. Instead of it getting released, taken away, and dealt with, it kind of just gets dumped into the trash dump. You know, it's like leaving, but then there's all this trash that's going out, all the trash coming in, and it's all backed up, and you just basically have piles of trash. That's when you think of like your aura. And the ultra clean is like getting your unconscious mind to really start clearing that away. You know, if you got a trash dump or outside your house, you don't want to go out there, you know, with a small bag picking it up. You want big, giant, like those big movers, those like, I think it's the D9s, DS9 super tractors that they have at the landfills. I like going to landfills. It's really cool to see them move the trash and the big things, whole ground shakes and stuff like that. That's a whole nother thing. You know, it's the engineering thing and seeing the engineering happening in the big tractors or bulldozers, I should say. But anyway, if you had all that trash in your yard, you want the bulldozer to come and clear that out. You know, having a fleet of bulldozers, if you have trash in your yard, do you want to go out there, pick it out? I mean, because you would have benefit. If you spend 12 hours going through everything, looking, okay, I need this, I need that trash, bagging it up, right? And you start making progress, you'd feel good. But do you have 12 hours a day to be doing that slowly with, you know, putting one thing in the chest? Or do you want to just call in the bulldozer and say, like, clear it out, come on. I need this stuff cleared. I need to be working properly. Let's get this back to engineering working soundly. That's what the work gate does. That's what allows you to kick it off, and we start massively clearing out the trash in front of us, to the side, to the left side, the right side, behind us, below us, above us, clearing that trash out, because your aura is going to be 360. So it's not like just in front of you, it's 360 all around, because stuff's coming from this side, from that side, above and below. So that's kind of a way to clear it out, get an idea of like kind of what your aura is. And it's almost like a TV screen. So if you're letting stuff go, you want to know you're letting stuff go, right? So when it kind of hits the aura, the buffer is a moment to be like, hey, do we need this? And you look like, no, we're leaving. It's leaving. Let it go, let it go. But if you got trash everywhere, you kind of don't know what's leaving, what's coming. It's overwhelming. You don't know, oh, let it go, keep this, don't have, you know, and you don't have the critical information, you know, the critical magical moments coming in because there's so much trash everywhere. And it's like, oh, wait. And sometimes they pierce through, and that's when you have a fantastic day or have that magical moment where it's able to pierce through all the trash, completely take your focus, and you're like, that's amazing. But that's happening every day. You always have that opportunity. But when you got a big trash dump in the way, you don't experience that opportunity. That's what this, you know, ultra clean work gate can start bringing you back to. One, to start clearing it out so you just feel better not having a big trash dump in your aura and in your chakras. But then you can start getting those magical moments, getting that information, coming in, realizing your gifts that you were brought into, and just the magic that's happening all the time. So that's why it's big, super important, and it's super simple. This is gonna be your longest video, just explaining it. Actually doing the process and kicking off the work gates are super simple, super quick, right? And then the same with your aura. So like, your chakras. So your chakras, which are inside the body, that's more of like having trash inside your house. So if you have a whole bunch of trash outside your house, it's going to get coming inside your house. Not to mention your house, this divine body, there's a lot of information coming and going. There could be a lot of trash, a lot of stuff that you learned, especially when we're going through the, you know, freedom through safety. We're clearing out tons of trash, but we want that pathway cleared. You know, we don't want to have all this trash in your bedroom thrown into the living room, you know, or all the trash in the living room thrown into the kitchen. We want it to clear out of the house and then your yard, which is like your yard, and then out of or be gone to where you got to clear yard, clear house. And now when the aura, which kind of is the buffer, bad stuff shows up and you're like, nah, I don't need that. That flushes. And then the good stuff shows up and you're like, yes. And it has a place to go. It has a place to come through like your yard, and then it has a place to come into your house, which is like your mansion, your glorious temple now, because it's all cleaned up. And now you have just all this joy building and surrounding you, and then your aura starts filling up with joy. So when you look out, you're seeing joy of like, wow, that's amazing. Wow, that's wondrous. Wow, that's awesome. Because you're not going through the trash dump. So hopefully those analogies helped. And then like just with the chakras, it's like rooms in your house that are trashy, right? And the ultra clean goes through each room, clearing that out, tosses it out of the house, which then has to go through the aura. That's why we want the aura clear too, because we don't want to toss it out of the house and have it all get stuck like on the aura screen. And then we're like, ooh, that's messed up. Ooh, that's bad. Ooh, this. It's like, no, that's supposed to go. We want that to leave. You know, we're taking the trash out. It's supposed to like pulling the trash, looking at it and keeping it. No. Oh, it's trash. We throw it out and leave it. We don't want this on the screen, so to speak, of our life out there. We want that going as fast as possible. That's why the Ultra Clean will really help that, really accelerate that process, because we're going to be releasing it all. We're going in deep to clear with the freedom through safety stuff. The Ultra Clean is just, it's a great way to just start. I mean, even on itself, it can start bringing you a magical life. But since it's a superpower, just like the other warp gates, it's like, let's do it on big stuff. As opposed to just in the moment feeling better, let's clean up all the trash that's from not in the moment, but also in our previous lifetime, generationally, and start being even a more blessing than just for ourselves, but for our families, for the world, you know, and not to mention start living that purpose that you uniquely have, right? So you clear out the trash, you're going to start hearing those messages. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of background of like kind of how the aura functions, how the chakras function like in your house, and like just energy's flowing. And if all your, like if you're walking through your house and that's all trashy, it makes it really hard to move through it dynamically and enjoy each room, you know, each room of your house, as opposed to being limited to like this one small place that doesn't have trash. Now you want to be able to float throughout your house and have it be a temple, and then outside your house be a temple. So that's what we're going to clear up here. It's going to go really, really fast. Like I said, this is the longest video. So jump into installing the Ultra Clean Warp Gate. And until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.